Welcome to Genre Blender. I'm Ryan, he's Kris, and today we're talking about horror subgenres. Right in time for spooky season. The slashes, ghost stories. What else have we got? Let's talk about it. Kris, how many horror subgenres do you think there are?
I don't know. Every time I think about this question, I am often shocked at how many horror subgenres there are. So, if you were to ask me a question prior to researching anything for this episode, I would have been like 15, maybe. I reckon there's at least 45 out there in the world
Yeah,
at this point.
yeah.
Like, if you had to guess a number, what would you say?
I don't know much about horror. It's not my go-to. And so I'm right there with you. I would have gone like, 15, 20, just from the ones that are on the top of my head. But yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a lot.
There are so many. So, off top of your head, see if you can name five, and then I'll like go into the list and I'll pick out some of the weirder ones that I did not realize that they were.
The ones that I know are like the obvious ones, right? So the first thing, look, when we decided we were going to do something for sort of Halloween, the first one that came to mind was like the slashers, right? Like the classic slasher movies and books.
I'm mainly a book guy, so I've got book props, but briefly
Sure,
we spoke
got a
about
few.
movies and shit prior. But yeah,
Yeah.
right, slashers. We've got slashers.
So the
Next.
slashers, and then the psychological horror as well. That kind of because that's my personal preference. So they're the ones that I tend to go
I
for,
think I have
which aren't.
psychological horror.
You don't have a prop
Yeah,
for that. I don't
no.
think I do either, actually. But like those are the ones that are in my head but they often are with another genre as well, like a sci-fi or a thriller or something like that. So, and then the only other one that was on the top of my head was like environmental horror because we just read not too long ago the Jeff
That one.
Vandermeer
Got that
Area
one over here.
X. Yeah.
Yeah.
So these ones,
Also,
I do have a couple
also
of.
quite psychological. Could we put that in a
It is. You,
psychological
I guess you
realm?
could.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of cross genre, right? A lot of
Yeah.
these are. But I got a
You've
couple
got
of
a
others.
few.
I've
Yeah.
collected a few. I haven't read them yet, but there's Dead Astronauts and Born as well, which are the
Do you have
other
the
famous ones.
fungal horror like
Yes.
collection? You got me that one, right?
Ambergris. Yeah,
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 okay.
yeah.
We'll talk about
Yeah.
that later. That's a off
Mhm.
topic. Psychological.
Yeah.
I mean, environmental horror.
Yeah.
Um,
They're the ones that I think of. Like that's pretty
okay.
much, and then I have to like start reaching
Okay.
to think of the others.
Well, I have many. And I thought I was pretty well versed because I do enjoy horror, literary horror, for the most part. But one that I'm surprised didn't come up is monster horror.
Yes.
And we've got this is the folio edition
Classic.
of Jaws.
What a
So
cover.
oh man, this is so beautiful. This is the most money I've ever spent on an individual book ever in my life, and probably will for the foreseeable future. We've got like this beautiful artwork in there. So when I thought about monster horror, I was like, oh, like fake monsters or supernatural monsters. Like, no, I'm talking about real life creatures that could kill you and like have existed in the past, like the megalodon. Freaks me out. But yeah, so if I jump into a horror subgenre list, I'm going to read a couple of these to you because I want to get live reactions.
Please. Yeah.
Now the
Yeah,
one
we
that
haven't looked any of this up, by the way. This is
no,
all.
it's like I basically just put it on my screen.
We wanted to be surprised.
Okay, so we have gothic
Okay.
gothic horror. So we've got
Okay.
I've got Susan Hill, Woman in Black here. I think your Mary Shelleys, etc.,
Yep.
so forth,
Frankenstein.
would
Yep.
fall into that. We have body horror.
Ugh. No thanks. It's probably my least favorite horror genre, I think.
You may not like Eric LaRocca.
Yeah,
Well,
I've got one as a
well,
trial run.
to be fair, my favorite Eric LaRocca book was I had that one. I don't know if I read that one. Was Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke. That is body horror, and that was fucking horrific. That was something else.
Yeah.
We've got, I mean, supernatural horror. So you've got your
Your ghost
zombie
stories and your
parent, yeah.
haunted house.
Although supernatural horror and paranormal horror are different. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, sure.
Ghost stories, which you said. One that I really like, I found that I love is cosmic horror, where things are just a bit weird. It's just a bit weird. It's funky fresh. It has like Lovecraftian elements to it, but it's just a bit,
Yeah.
it's
I didn't know of
insanity.
this as a as a subgenre until we started talking about
Mhm.
it. I didn't know this was a thing, but I think I gravitate towards that as well. I just didn't know what it was called. So there you
We've got weird horror.
go. Weird
We've
horror.
got weird
Yes.
horror where you just play with some funky elements and different to cosmic horror as well, because there are like cosmic elements to it. We have folk horror. So I've got this big chunky beast.
How would
Um,
you explain folk horror?
Normally small town vibes,
Hmm.
small town vibes, local mythology for particular towns, but folk tales.
Yeah, right.
We've got like cryptid horror. I cannot with
Mm.
cryptids. Not a fan.
Mm-mm.
No,
Mm-mm. No
don't be
thanks.
coming in here. And then I guess off the basis of slashers, you've got splatterpunk, which is gore, like very gore heavy.
Which I find comedic, so it's funny to me.
I watched a lot of gore when I was a lot younger. These days I'm like I don't really like it for blood for blood's sake. I
Uh,
want my blood to mean something, you know. Um, we do have things like comedy horror or satire horror, and I've only ever read this done well once.
okay.
But I would be open to suggestions, and it was a book called The Erstwhile Tyler Kyle. It's from an indie author, and
Mm.
it like I don't know what it was about it. The writing was good, the humor was on point, and it was poking fun at like social media and the expectations that we're following a YouTube star who's sort of like trying to grasp at popularity, goes to this island, has to survive. Like we had cryptids in there as well. Well, now the one that got me, which we were talking about off camera, or Ryan saw me react to off camera, was erotic horror. Which
Is that what that
I
was?
forgot that was even a thing, and I have read some erotic horror, and I was like, I don't like, I'm not rushing back to it because I'm very vanilla as a person, and some of that was just like not to kink shame anyone. You do what you want to do. We're not here to
No, that's
judge you, but for me, I was like, that's a lot. That's a
yeah,
lot
yeah.
for my
Is this
brain
where
to contend
is
with.
is this where space alien tentacles would fall into that kind of category? Or
That's not even erotic horror. No, that's just people liking tentacles. That's not for this episode.
nope, that's the not. No, it's not
That's
even
not even an
another
episode.
episode. No,
Let's
mm-mm,
not touch that.
no,
Yeah, there's quite a lot.
a lot.
I mean, post-apocalyptic in there. One I
Oh yeah,
personally
true.
like really really like because it gets quite psychological is cult horror. This is the only one that I have physically. I've read a few, or listened to a few. Cult horror is quite good. You've got literary horror, which is your Stephen King's of the world, which we spoke about earlier in the month. It's a lot.
Yeah, there is a lot. There's also because most of the ones we've touched on are sort of book focused, but I suppose if you go into like sort of video game territory, you've even got some other types of horror as well. So you've got things like survival horror, because that's the gameplay mechanic as
Hang on a
well.
minute.
Oh, nice.
Survival
Okay,
horror. Yeah.
there you go. Cool. So you've got like your Resident Evil, Silent Hill type thing as
Zombies,
well.
zombie horror. I guess that would
Yeah,
move into. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if that
they
would be
cross
super.
genres, right?
Yeah, that's a.
Yeah, yeah.
And in film, you've got more as well.
Yeah, well, like you've got the, I guess the found
Found
footage,
footage one.
which
Yeah.
we've talked about on
Yeah.
the channel before, but like, that's something I quite like quite a bit. So, Blair Witch Paranormal Activity. Um, and then I suppose the other one that I like is, I guess, the more, I don't know, sci-fi or psychological. So, like, Final Destination is one that I think about quite often,
Is
which
that not a
is,
slasher though?
well, it is and it's not, right? Because, like, there's no,
Zero
well,
people drive
spoilers.
behind log vehicles anymore. Like
Yeah, but
none of us
what's
are driving behind
sure?
any. Like it's all so funny because there's always like this mad gap
Yeah,
between like the logging trucks and anyone. They're like, no, I've
good.
seen that scene. It's not happening.
It's culturally,
Yeah,
in our
we are
heads
so
now.
damaged from that franchise.
We love it. What else you got in the list for films? What other ones are
Well,
your?
one because I'm not of this generation, but I have seen advertisements for like I don't know if it's a subgenre. I'm sure it would go into other subgenres, but like Gen Z horror, where the idea for it is like possessions or stalking or home invasion through social media. And because we didn't necessarily grow up with social media, we're like our home invasions like camcorder, like shaky cam, like the scream,
Right.
um, footage, and like being stabbed outside of their home. But
Yeah.
there's a really big psychological element to the way that people can get under somebody's skin through the internet, and like that is a theme that I've read about from these. I'm not seen a whole lot
Yeah.
myself, but I was like, yeah, because that is quite a very real danger for.
Yeah. That's
I
what
say
makes it
kids,
scary,
they're
right?
in their early 20s nowadays.
Right. For everyone.
But
Yeah.
yeah, like
Yeah.
because it is so easy to be, and I mean, we grew up in an age where the internet was kind of new and it was more innocent. It certainly got more depraved as we got older, but we didn't have a lot of the dangers that kids do nowadays. And because we've grown up with it,
Yeah.
we're aware of it, we saw it happen. Yeah, like that's scary in itself. Scary in a very
Yeah.
real way for
Absolutely.
people.
It's funny because like when I was younger, that probably would have been quite interesting to me, but now it's a little too close to home. I'm just not
Yeah,
as
yeah.
interested in reading stuff like that now or watching
Um,
stuff like that.
we've also got stuff like haunted houses. Now, I personally
Yeah.
not a fan. I don't think I've ever seen a haunted house thing that I've enjoyed. I did enjoy The Conjuring, but I cannot remember. It's been a while since I've seen it, whether that's a haunted house or like
Yeah.
possession or ghost story within a haunted house, because like I don't mind that so much. And if the house is a part of it and a part of the setting and the house is creepy, then
Yeah.
that's fine. It's specifically when it's a haunted house.
Yeah. When
So
it's literally just like ghosts.
things like the Amityville Horror, where the house is
Yeah.
haunted. Oh, I did like Hereditary, and that no, was it Hereditary? Tony Collette.
Not familiar.
I don't know whether that's the one I'm thinking of. Anyway, had Tony Collette in it, and that was like a house possession situation that I didn't mind. But yeah, normally
Yeah.
it's not for me. Amityville Horror was trash, and that's based off a true story.
What about possession horror specifically? Like, do you like The Exorcist, that kind of thing? Do you find that horrific? Do you get a kick out of it?
Do I find it horrific? No, but
Yeah.
I don't get a kick out of it. It's neither here nor there.
Yeah, I'm
But
pretty neutral on it as well, to be honest.
I love psychological horror. I like weird horror.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
like environmental horror because I think climate change is coming for us, and that's very interesting. There is one satire horror that I really enjoyed, and it was a movie. Oh, no, it wasn't horror. It was just a horrific topic. It was about climate change. It's called Don't Look Up. Had a huge cast in it,
Great film.
and it
Yeah,
was fucking fantastic. I
it's
don't often
great.
like movies like that where
Yeah.
it's just satire for satire's sake,
Yeah. Mhm.
but the messages in there were so powerful. Would you call it horror? I don't know.
That again, cross
The
genres.
topic was
It's just
horrific.
satire. That's the
Yeah.
topic. That's the genre. It's good.
Anyway, sort of like
Yeah.
got off
Yeah.
got off on a
Well,
wild
there's a
tangent.
lot.
There's a
Like the
lot.
point is there's so many, and I think there's more that are coming out and being created
Mm.
because different things become more horrific over time, I suppose.
Yeah, the social media stuff
Um,
really gets me because I don't,
yeah,
and I feel like
legit.
I don't think I'm chronically online, but I feel like I am online a lot.
Quite a bit.
And if I didn't know better about the internet, especially with like AI coming in and this new fucking video AI thing,
AI horror is that's
AI
going to be a
horror
thing?
is it's here. Like that's just
It's
real life right
already
now.
here.
What do you think it is about horror that draws people in? Because we all get real addicted to it. Why?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, this is the thing, right? Because I feel like I'm not really that person. I'm not as drawn to it as perhaps a lot of people. I've had this discussion with like work colleagues and stuff, and I think a lot of people really just kind of want that thrill of being scared of having that adrenaline rush, that thrill. But I have like a work colleague, for example, who doesn't like to watch really emotional films that are like sad, for example, whereas I tend to gravitate more towards those, whereas I don't like being scared. I guess I'm just a weakling. I don't know. But yeah, I guess it's the thrill of it, right? The things that may not be scary maybe in real life for you, or maybe it's the fact that you are in that like controlled environment and you get to be a little bit scared, but you know it's going to be okay. I
But
don't
it's
know. How
over
about you?
within 2 to 3
Yeah.
hours. I
Roll the credits, it's done.
I think it is like it depends on the type of scare, right? So I really like the psychological stuff because I want to think about it. I want to think about these things after I turn off
Yeah.
the movie, and I'm like, what would that look like in this scenario? And I think post-apocalyptic horror. we I don't know about anyone else, but like I am mentally prepping for this thing to fucking World War Three, like to go. Every time I go to the shops, I'm like, let's just get one more canned good just in case the world ends.
It's for the vaults,
Just
just
for
in
the
case.
vaults,
Yeah.
just in case the world ends.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do I need to survive? Like, because of who we are, I'm like, can I stock up on Testagel? Can I put that in my backpack?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, yeah.
I've
It's
really
real
thought
life. Yeah.
about this
Yeah.
this too much. But I
Yeah.
don't love things like gore. I like it if it's smart. So
Yes.
the Saw franchise, so I grew up
Mm.
while that franchise was there, and it's incredibly gory. But the first few I felt were very smart in what they were trying to do, so I didn't mind that so much. Um, the first one was one of the lowest budget films that had been made. It was made in a warehouse with two actors, quite unknown actors at the time, and it really just played on human psychology. And then the second one is probably my favorite of the franchise, and again, it was smart what it was trying to do, even though it was horrific, and you still had that shock value and that adrenaline rush, and like people were dying in horrific ways. But the end of that movie is like a spoiler alert if you haven't seen Saw 2, but you've had, I don't know, 30 years at this point.
It's old now. Yeah.
It was like if you had all worked together, none of you would have died. And this is how. And I was like, that's cool because you were just thinking that all these people are here for themselves. It was very smart. It played on humanity. And then it just sort of got ridiculous as the franchise went on. I think the last one that I watched was 4 or 5, and I think we're at like 10 of these fucking
Yeah. There's a
movies now.
lot, right? Yeah. I gave up.
So I like
Yeah.
the concept of it. I also like cult horror because the human element, again, I think it is easy, and religious horror as an aside, depending on if you want to call religion a cult. Like, I'm not here to judge anyone's, religious beliefs or whatnot, but I think that kind of thinking can really play on our humanity, which is interesting. I got off topic again. Um,
No, there's a lot.
so I think, yeah, the human elements draw us in. You're right, the ability to go, this doesn't affect me, turn it off and walk away. But I'm interested in what it would look like for other people.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm pretty horror curious. Like, it's not something I have historically delved into a lot, but that's not for lack of wanting. It's more just I haven't found what really, what I find super interesting. So more of the environmental horror, like we talked about. But I think also like in terms of games, there's the Dark Pictures anthology, the Supermassive Games series of games, and I've played a couple of them. Man of Medan, I played with my partner, and that's kind of like a choose your own adventure slasher, really. So it does all of the tropey slasher kind of stuff, but it's also like you get to be the people, and that's kind of fun. And I think that has a whole like subgenre to itself because it's a way to participate in that with other people. It's like a social type of game. So that's kind of fun. But typically, like I can't play horror games. Like famously, the Alien game, which I did play on stream for a little bit,
I've watched
little
people play
while.
it, and even I was
Yeah,
like, I can't. I can't.
nah, and I can't even watch it anymore. I can't watch other people play it, and usually I'm okay with that. But it's just like it's almost too much. Like it's almost the that feeling of being chased or hunted. Like that's a whole thing, and I'm not there for that.
Play it without the
So
music because I feel like the score adds
yes,
so much.
it's
It's the string
it
instruments
swells.
that really
Yeah,
get you.
definitely.
So what are you
Yeah.
curious about? What type of horror are you curious about?
Yeah, so we talked about this a little bit because I haven't read a lot of horror, right? So I've watched horror films as most of us have, and I've played a couple horror games, and I know that's not really for me. But I haven't really read a lot of horror. So I said to Kris off camera, I said, "Hey, look, I'm actually pretty curious about like slasher horror, but in book form. Like what other kind of horror, like typical slasher type of films in book form? What do we have?" So yeah, so what we got?
I mean, there's a few slasher books there, but like I find slashers fucking ridiculous. I don't
Yeah,
find them
they
intelligent
are.
at all. But like, I
No.
think I think it really depends, and this is what my problem with Exodus as well. But that's
Mm,
for us off camera. Um,
mhm.
I don't love things that aren't intelligent, and I find slashers to be dumb, and I'm just not here for dumb humor. So, I mean, I read the Angel of Indian Lake trilogy. I think it's just called the Indian Lake trilogy by Stephen Graham Jones, and I liked this enough. The writing is engaging. It's easy to fall into. A lot of exploration of mental health, which I appreciated, and it doesn't shy away from the gritty details of mental health. Check your trigger warnings because even though it's very slasher based, there is a lot of talk about suicidal ideation in here. I wasn't prepared for that when I read
Okay.
this the
Yeah.
first time. So I needed to reset expectations going into the other ones. But this whole trilogy, we're following a main character who is obsessed with slashers. So there's a lot of like cultural references to 80s, 90s slashers in here, while living their own slasher in the. So it's sort of like breaking
Yeah.
the
Right.
fourth wall,
Bit meta.
as
Yeah.
well. Yeah, yeah. So you might enjoy that. There's also this one which I haven't read yet, but I love the cover, like the VHS
Oh, nice. I
cover.
do
Like
like
this
that.
is beautiful, and this is my best friend's exorcism by Grady Hendrix, and it's
Great
I've
name.
not read it, but it's got very 80s vibes to it as well. I know.
I love
Cool
that.
looking.
That's
It's
brilliant.
such a good cover. So I'm sure that I'll read that, but I want to read it again, so you can have that one as well.
Mm. Yeah, okay, sweet. Yeah, I'm there for that. I'm gonna try it out. I'm just sort of gonna like test the waters with a lot of these in book form, and just see what I like. But I think the reason I'm curious about it, I agree with you. I usually don't like the dumb
Hmm.
horror. People making bad decisions and then getting slashed in the middle of the woods, whatever.
I've definitely
But
thrown a remote
also,
at like a TV before, being like, "You're such a
yeah,
dumb
right.
fuck! Like, what are you doing
Right?
this?"
Yeah, but it's something that it can be a very social thing to do as well. Like I wouldn't probably watch those movies on my own anymore.
Hmm.
But as a book, I'm just curious how that would go. So anyway, that's just an experiment for me. I did want to call out a couple of others as well because although it's not necessarily horror, you've kind of got. There's Akira, which is it's science fiction. This is manga, by the way, but it's like science fiction, but it has horror elements because it's kind of it does do a little bit of body horror. I haven't read this; I've only watched the film, but it does definitely have those elements to it as well. So I think there's a lot of like Japanese fiction that is horror themed or has those kind of cross genre. The little bit of horror mixed in with other things.
You've
And
got to
one
read
that I'm not sure
Earthlings.
if yeah. Oh, yeah. I actually hired it out and then didn't read it, so that's my bad. But it
That's,
is on the top of my TBR.
I mean, cannibal horror is also another subgenre, so,
Oh,
which I guess leans into body horror a bit. But that book was fucking weird.
I feel like I need to at least read what the story is about before I just jump into some of
No, no,
these because
don't look what Earthling's about before you read it.
the other one I wanted to call out, and I don't know if you've read this, it's The Girl with All the Gifts by M.R. Carey. I think there's a sequel to this as well. I could be wrong, but I think there's another follow up at least. And it's zombie horror, but it's also psychological zombie horror. And I adored this book. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I read it quite a long time ago, but yeah, things like that where they do a lot of like we love a good genre blend on this channel, but well, that's kind of my jam. So yeah, if you got anything like that, absolutely open to it.
I mean, sure, but you also should have my indie book recommendations. But I do have like I like sci horror as well. Now I'm not a big space. I like sci-fi, and I keep trying books in space and then not
You do.
loving it, and I don't know what my
Indeed.
fucking problem is because I keep trying them, and every time I'm like I'm bored. And like Ryan's like, stop reading them.
I've warned
I
him.
keep
It's
trying,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
there is the idea of space horror really just tickles something different in me because what a place to be like stranded. What a place to have horrific shit happen. Like there is just no escape from where you're gonna
In
go.
space,
Space?
no
Like,
one can hear you scream.
yeah, exactly. Like there's what a place to be having horrific things happen to you because like, you've got to figure it out. Um, there is one series that I really enjoy, and it's horror esque because of zombies, and it's called the Three Rivers Plague, and it's by a brother duo called Zachary and Joshua Forbes, or their names are Zachary and Joshua Forbes, and it is horror mafia, like post apocalyptic horror mafia, and it is really fun. Like if I was gonna say a bookish popcorn series that I have, it would be that series, but it
Interesting.
gets scarier with the zombies as each book progresses. It's not the
Yeah.
best written thing in the world. But I'm not reading it for that, right? I'm reading it
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
fun. And there was a scene in the second book where they're he's trying to get out from this room that is filling up with water, and he's chained to the floor, and he's trying to get this chain out, and the zombies like coming at him from
Oh no.
underwater, and I was like, "Ugh."
No, 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 no. That's a phobia of mine. Like, the underwater stuff. Nah. Mm-mm. In movies though, in book form, I don't know how I'd go, but in movies, no
I
thanks.
love a good shark movie. If and like I'm very curious about going shark diving, but because of like
No
just
way.
the horror books that I've read, the all the shark movies that I've watched, they're all horror. I just probably shit myself. Wouldn't be pleasant for anyone that should be
Oh,
around.
no, thank you. No, thank
So
you.
why do you think? Okay, so one of the notes here is like, why do you think some of these subgenres work? And we sort of touched upon it a little bit, but I feel like particularly in, I mean, look, the market, particularly in movies, got saturated from the 70s to the 90s with horror because
Yeah.
it was successful. So people like, there was just so many of them being made, which is why you've got a lot of those sort of classic cult horrors around that time. So you've got, I know what we did last summer, Scream, Final Destination, all those sort of movies around that same time, the franchises that came from them. Why do you think they were so popular? Is it because they were dumb? They were dumb fun?
I guess. Yeah, I think the thing that appeals to most people is a thing I'm not really a fan of personally, but I do see the appeal of watching those kinds of movies with friends and just yelling at the screen and just no, don't do that. Don't walk in the woods by yourself, that kind of thing.
And
So I get it.
maybe that's why they're so
Yeah.
successful, is because it's built on you're with a group of
Yeah.
mates and you're all collectively annoyed at the people dying on screen. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, there are things like supernatural horror, so like ghost stories. I loved ghost stories as a kid
All
because
right.
I and again I don't know if I believe in any of this stuff. Like I'm open to it being real, but I don't know if I actually believe in it. And I think because that's such a limbo area, I quite
Yeah.
enjoy that because it could be real. I don't know if I
Mm.
believe it, but I don't not believe it at the same time.
Yeah.
So
It has your
that's
interest
cool.
just enough.
There's like
Yeah.
enough true accounts of it where it's like,
Yeah.
is it? Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel the same way about like sci-fi genres like First Contact
yeah,
or
yeah, right.
like sightings, that kind of UFOs. Same reason. Like I don't not believe, but I
Don't
don't know
believe.
if I'm a
Okay,
believer. But
I also
yeah,
feel the same way about religion. Like I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah,
There are things in life where I'm like, there is definitely something bigger than me out there, but
yeah, yeah,
I don't have any tangible proof.
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
don't not
I,
believe, but I also don't necessarily
yeah.
believe anything. Like it's
Yeah, it super. I really like the kind of stories where there is like this unknown force that is driving something. Like for
yeah,
example, the Final Destination
yeah.
films, right? Like the reason I love those is because there's not really you don't know
You don't know what
why.
it is, but things are just
What is
happening,
it?
which is
Yeah.
such a metaphor for our lives. Things are
Mm.
just happening. We
Yeah.
don't fucking know why, but
Just along for the
we're
ride.
here for the ride. Whatever.
That's it.
Um, the other one we have is environmental horror, which I think is going to be more and more prevalent and relevant
Yeah.
to our lives because global warming is obviously such a big. It's not even that it's a fear mongering tactic. It's here. We are dealing with
It just
it.
is.
Every
Mhm.
year, the world is getting hotter slash colder in different places, and thinking about these very real things to their extreme is horrific. But it's like this could happen, and I feel like that's the element that draws us in and also warns us, hey, don't let this be a thing because that's probably not going to be great for, I don't know, 98% of the population.
No. Yeah, the ones that are quite subtle with it, I think, are good because I think you feel like you're being hit over the head with this stuff quite a
Hmm.
lot and feel almost helpless to do anything meaningful. But the ones that subtly kind of hint that, hey, maybe we should care more, hopefully everyone is reading it and starting to think about it. But I mean, it's one of those things that you hope that can change the world, and who knows?
It depends who's running world organizations, and we'll
Pretty
leave
much.
politics out of it. But um,
Yeah.
yeah, supernatural horror. I think. I mean, it's got such a fan base for vampires and werewolves and what else is supernatural? Shifters,
Yeah. I don't even know how I
fairies,
feel about
fae.
supernatural.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a lot of like it kind of goes into fantasy. Then you've got like the
yeah, a lot of that. So
crossover.
when I look at supernatural horror, I often cross it over with urban fantasy.
Yeah, yeah,
But I mean, you'd have like gothic horror like Dracula, which is vampires, and like I
yeah,
quite
yeah.
enjoyed that when I listened to it a few years ago.
Hmm.
again, there's an element.
Yeah.
It's a suspense element of those. I think gothic horror isn't necessarily scary, but there is an atmosphere that is created in the works, which is draws me in anyway. I don't know about other people, but I quite
Yeah.
like
There's a
it.
lot of environment, like big landscapes, and
Yeah,
you know,
and I do love a
yeah.
folk horror.
Yeah.
Okay, so sort of coming to the end here, have we been motivated to try a different subgenre from this discussion? Is there something you would want to pick up?
Yeah. I guess. Look, so I've mentioned about the slasher fiction just in book form. I'm very curious how that goes. Um, I kind of just want to read more classic horror, or actually, so one of two things, or both things, I should say. Classic horror as books, because I haven't experienced a lot in book form of that. But also just the super weird stuff, the completely just
Oh
out of left
yeah,
field, just
oh
really
yeah.
just crossing all the genres, just the cosmic horror and things like that. So I'm open to that. So if you, Kris, or if anyone watching has any suggestions, like please let me know, because I'm super open to horror as a genre, and curious what's good, what's out there that's good.
One thing that we didn't touch upon in the subgenres, which I don't think was in the list, is extreme horror. Now,
Okay,
this shit is often very weird. But very weird and very grotesque. I've read a couple in my time, and they tend to lean into body horror, cannibalism, just like things that really take you out of left field. And you're like, wait a minute, what the fuck have I just read? And I love that though. I love putting a book down and be like, I have no idea what I've just experienced.
yeah,
Or walking out of a movie
yeah,
being like, I only have
what?
questions.
Yeah, yeah, no
I
answers,
have
just
zero
many
zero
questions.
answers, only questions.
Yeah,
And a fairground horror, which isn't a subgenre necessarily, but if you could put the worst written fairground based horror book in front of me, I would eat it up. I because
interesting.
I
That's your thing.
same with like underwater horror or like beach horror is because these are places that we go to which during the day are quite picturesque and lovely, but if you turn those lights off, they turn creepy as fuck. And like I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
So, question then: how do you feel about clowns in
I'm not
general?
scared. Look, I never got the fear of clowns, but I can certainly see why they would be scary, particularly to
Hmm.
children.
Yeah,
If you've got this like big idiot, like full of makeup, and their movements are eccentric, and
yeah,
there's certainly been some clown depictions which have been scary. So I can't remember his name. There was one in American Horror Story. I think it was season 4, and but like the mask was all like distorted and like it had been
yeah.
done up in stitches and like he had a chainsaw, so like
Uh,
it really played on the clown horror.
yeah.
um yeah, there's another type of subgenre that again we didn't really go into is, and I guess it's a subset of found footage, is like transcription horror. And there was one by Mike Brockovin, and it was a fairground horror where the story was told completely in snippets from, and it was like survivals, like a Hunger Games situation. They were in some event had happened, and they were locked in this fairground, and they had like different factions, and one would stay over this side and one would stay over this side. But the whole story was just taken in like interview format
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah,
after the end of the event. I loved it. It was
yeah.
really good on audio as well with the cast that they
Oh,
had.
I imagine it would be. Yeah, yeah. Actually, it's a good point to bring up. Just I think the way you tell stories also can
100%.
work quite well for horror. When you experiment with different storytelling methods, because it kind of lends itself to that anyway, right? So yeah, that's actually pretty good. So let us know, what are your favorite horror subgenres and why? Let us know in the comments below. Give us a thumbs up if you liked the video. Subscribe for more. And where else can they go, Kris?
Well, you can head over to genreblender.net if you want to sign up for extra content over there. We can come and hang out with us over on our Discord server. The link for that will be in the comment section down below, and we'll see you over there. Until next time, happy spooky season, and Halloween is just around the corner, so stay safe.